Would y'all classify yourself as insiders?
Uh, I don't know. Like whenever I don't know. Whenever I say that, it feels weird whenever I say that. So like I don't really say it. I kind of just say I'm like a reporter, but even that feels gross too.
Yeah.
I
What do you
just say
say?
I'm a newsbreaker.
What about you, Hayes?
I just say I'm a newsbreaker
Okay.
Newsbreaker.
because look, this is what I feel like. I feel like if I would classify myself as an insider, or Jackson would classify himself as an insider, then recruits would get a false interpretation of who we are and what we do because they're used to insiders crystal balling and putting out all this information that they might not want out. Me and Jackson, we trust, like we value our relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, okay. So maybe it's kind of the difference between like kind of a little bit more of an authentic relationship with the guys y'all speak with.
Yeah, that's what it is. And what I'm saying is like there's nothing really wrong with crystal balling people and like guessing where they're going and giving information out, but it's just kind of different in like what me and Jackson do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What do you think, Jackson? You prefer to go by AT, by the way, when we're doing these kinds of things, or do you care?
It doesn't matter. You can call me Jackson. You can call me AT. It doesn't matter to me too much.
I haven't put my personal name out there a whole lot yet, so I haven't decided if I'm cool with it just yet. I don't know. I don't know why
Yeah.
I would really care, but I mean, it's on the screen. If people are going to see it, they'll know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just something I've never worried too much about, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should, but
Wait, so what do we call you?
I'll wait till I'm given a reason to.
Wait, so what do we call you?
Me?
Yeah.
You know what? I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, well, if I wasn't going to use my real name, what would I go by? And so I'm kind of in the educational world, and we go by last names a lot. So if I'm going off the channel, I would probably see myself as going as Central.
I got you.
But I don't know. I mean, I really like AT, and I think you're Hayes to anybody and everybody. So I was like, well, I don't know, maybe Central would roll off the tongue well, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think I think Central's, I mean, there's nobody else out there with like the name Central that's really, I mean, that's established that type of status. So I think if you kept growing at the rate you were, if someone said Central, they'd know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I just kind of hope, kind of similar to how y'all, view the guys you talk to. I just want it to develop authentically and, not force things. So
Central, here's my question for you. Is it your goal one day to be able to get this as big as it can be to where you can quit your current job and just do this for a living?
goal, let's see. I feel like partially that's so far away that it's hard for me to say I'm really moving towards that goal. And the other part of me is kind of like, well, if I am setting out to do that, then I don't feel like I can really get that big to be able to do that because I'm not really doing it for the love and the enjoyment of it. Because I think the people that do it for those reasons are the ones that end up the most successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe would it be like a skin on the wall kind of thing to say like, oh, people around Aggieland, know this name now, know those kinds of things, and they tune in. And there's other little milestones too, like maybe like being able to classify as a channel that's monetized on YouTube, those kinds of things. I mean, with 1,000 followers or subscribers and like 4,000 hours. I mean, that would be interesting. Don't get me wrong, it's something you kind of look at least I have, but I don't know. Want to keep it real.
Yeah.
How many followers you at now, AT?
I am at, let me look, 13.6 thousand.
Wow, I think back in late May or June you'd hit 10,000 or something?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I think I hit it. Ooh, I don't know. I don't remember when I had it. Yeah, I don't know. I've been growing pretty fast lately, though.
Mm-hmm. So Hayes, how's on three going, man?
Man, it's going great. I love it. Me and before, I mean, right now I'm waiting on this guy to post so I can publish this article. It's been pretty fun because before I joined on three, I wasn't really like writing articles and interviewing players. Now I'm making the edit and then I'm interviewing the player, and it's cool to see and like get information on why they choose each school or why each school makes their final list, and just being able to talk to them on the phone and get quotes from them is a different angle at what I've been doing in the past. So that's always fun.
Yeah, tell me about because I just saw that y'all came out or you released an edit, and it was the y'all's rating for the top linebacker in the 2022 class. I think maybe it was 2023. I can't remember. How's the rating aspect of things going for y'all?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, I kind of caught myself looking at it, and I'm pretty I don't want to say loyal, but if I'm going to check and see like, what a recruit is rated, I'm going to 247 a lot of times.
Yeah.
But whenever I saw y'all's, I kind of stopped for a second and I was like, oh, okay, I need to, maybe think about who I actually think's the best linebacker in the class, those kinds of things, or maybe reconsider where these guys actually stand. Cause y'all seem like you do have a few different ideas about that.
Oh yeah. Whenever these rankings originally came out, a lot of people had questions, especially when they released, the 2021 rankings at the, like basically when everyone was already in college and like played their spring games and stuff like that. Everyone was like, I mean, I guess you could say clowning our rankings. And then when we dropped the 2022 and 2023, it was kind of the same. But I think over time, as our database isn't even finished yet, and over time as that gets developed and things change, I think we'll see a shift in people using on three more than the other websites, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. What do you think sets y'all's rankings apart?
I mean, I couldn't really tell you because I have nothing to do with the rankings. But
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't do anything with rating players, or I'm not in any meetings or anything like that. I just use what's on our site. So,
have y'all thought about asking AT to write an Aggie centric article?
Man, I honestly think that would be awesome. Because we're getting like fan sites and stuff now, and I don't think we have a A&M one yet. I don't know what we're gonna do as far as that, but and AT is just one of the upcoming young guys in this business.
So does the business model kind of look a little bit like, so like 247, they've got like they've got an A&M centric one, right? And is it Orange Bloods? And then they've got,
yeah.
So are y'all going to do kind
it's
of
gonna
hubs?
be like that. It's gonna be like that, but like way different, like way more advanced, if that makes sense.
Okay. I'm interested to see that. Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting to say the least. And I mean, looking at it now, you can buy the subscription for like $80 off compared to what it's gonna be. Mm-hmm. Because it's gonna, like, once this gets all the way ready, it's gonna be pretty cool. Because at the website, what it is now, it's like literally not even close to what it's going to be, if that makes sense. Like the whole layout and the way it looks is going to be way different.
That's that's exciting. I mean, almost exciting is all I've seen that Rockwall's been doing, huh?
Oh yeah.
Let me plug this in. If y'all want to be one of the first, y'all go to on3.com, buy your subscription. Because I mean, like I said, hey, this is gonna be something special. It's gonna be something special.
I even got my on 3 sub already.
Do you?
Yeah, I got a buddy that got it, and I'm just like, all right, Hayes is on there, so I'm just gonna click on every article he posts.
Central, okay, so I think you should get that.
You'll have a 1-year subscription for $10. It's a launch special, right?
Correct.
Nice. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
hit
I
that
think,
up.
yeah, I think you need to hit that up, man, and everyone else should too. Because I mean, $10 compared to what it's going to be and the content you're going to be getting, it's unmatchable, man.
I think this is really interesting, right? Because especially like so from my perspective, I would classify both of you as insiders. I don't mean that to do that from that aspect, in the sense of like characterize it as unauthentic, right? But
Yeah.
I'm at least a couple steps away from kind of knowing information that you guys know. And I was kind of explaining to some people like, what am I doing tonight, right? And kind of who is it that I'm going to be talking to, and I'm basically
Mhm.
having to say like, the two guys I'm going to be talking with tonight basically know are one of the first, maybe not the absolute first person, but like the first handful of people that know where a guy's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I might be like in like the top 10,000 or something to know where an Aggie commit is going, but that would not translate nationally, right? And so just from this, kind of more average Joe spot, it does look like that. So having a subscription to the website where that kind of information can be had like that, because even if you go to certain websites, right? I mean, I can't get certain updates that I can get from AT, and nationally for sure, there's certain things I can't get that until you tweet. That's just a fact.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yeah.
I like in our thread AT for Aggies, we sometimes it gets a little slow and people want to know if there's any updates. So
Yeah.
people haven't worried too much recently because football's going on, but
Yeah. It's gotten a little bit quiet, and I mean I've been getting so many texts about like when's the next commit, because we haven't had one in a good bit. But I mean, eventually they'll start flooding in. I mean we've got what 11 spaces left in this class, and I mean if the new rule goes through and we get the extra 7 spots, you could start seeing us fill up real quick.
yeah, right. So we were like basically dead, and I did a little thing on this one, right? Because I thought this was really interesting, but we were basically dead all through July. From that point when Kelvin Banks committed to Oregon, it went, gosh, it was that was a rough month after that.
Oh yeah.
But August, what I think one hit, and then there started being, I started noticing we were hitting some top fives with some guys, maybe some top sevens, depending on if they were 2023 or not. And then Bryce Anderson commits, right? And then after that, it just kind of floods in. And where you have Dayon, Smoke Bowie that committed, and AT, you'll be able to rattle them off faster than I can, I'm sure. But there was a number of guys that we were in the top, 2, 3. We're in the top 2 with Bear, right?
Yeah.
Are we in the top 2 with Nolan, or in the top 5 maybe?
We're probably top 3 with Tennessee and Florida right now. I don't think he's released any type of list, but that would be my guess.
Yeah. And so I just kind of did a little thing on that, just kind of recapping the whole month of August, because July was real slow. Then August was real busy for us.
Yeah.
September's been real slow. Hopefully October will pick it up.
Yeah, I think sorry, that's another my glasses. I think October, we'll get a few in October, but it's really gonna. It's weird. I think with all the super seniors that we've had, and a lot of people haven't really thought about this, but with the super seniors we've had, and with visits opening up so much later, the kids really haven't started being able to see teams in person and all that until right about now. So this is about the time that no one will be making commitments. Mm-hmm. But once everyone finally starts taking their in-game visits, it's gonna start popping off. Like I know Kamari Wilson and Brennan Thompson and a ton of guys are about to take their final visit, and they'll be committing soonly after that. Even Big Gabriel Dindy. So either way, it's about to get really, really good, or it's about to get really, really bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with the segment I did, and my kind of point was too that it'll really stink to miss out on 1, 2, or all of them, but just having been in the conversation with so many, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be possible to miss out on like the entire bit. But even to get 1 or 2 would be a win in my book, and just being in the conversation as much as we are is a win. So
Yeah, I did the other day. I was kind of looking at it, and I think AggiesToday retweeted it or quoted it. But I did a little graphic on all the defensive linemen that you'll have a shot at landing. Like, y'all have 6 or 7 5-stars that have A&M in like the top 5, like 2, 3, 4, 5. Like,
Yeah.
let me go look. It was like Walter, Dindy, Shamar, Anai White. Let me find it. Okay, yeah, it was Dindy, Walter, Shamar, Anthony Lucas, Amoria Bohr, Bear Alexander, and Anai White. Like, imagine y'all land even 2 out of the 6.
right.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be crazy.
And also, even since he posted that, I mean, we're going to be getting an official for per 24/7 number 15 player in the country, Marvin Jones Jr. on the D line from Florida. If you add him to that list when he takes that official, that's quite the possibility. And I mean, even if you go 20% out of that group, that is probably the nation's best D line haul.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, dude. No doubt. And let me throw something in there. Marvin Jones Jr., number 1 player on 3, which is insane.
Oh yeah, you'll have him really high. And I mean, and even I don't know how much recruits may take it into consideration, but I know a guy like Harold Perkins, he's watching that very, very closely, especially Amoria Bohr, because he knows that he's gonna be playing behind that D line. Cornerbacks, I know that was a big thing for Bryce Anderson. Defensive backs help the defensive line. Defensive line helps cornerbacks. So, I mean, that'll help with a lot of the remaining prospects on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Very much so.
All right, just got the notification.
You saw me post that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be man, that team, that Corner Canyon team are always so good, dude. Like, they always have their quarterbacks just always like have one of the best seasons statistically. I mean, look at it. They had Zach Wilson. Last year they had Jackson Dort, who pretty much broke like every Utah record, won Gatorade National Player of the Year. And he got a little playing time against
I saw that.
Yeah. And then now they have Devin Brown. Like, those dudes put up crazy numbers in high school.
Let's talk about where do you have Connor Weekman rated? Is he your number 1 quarterback?
Man, that's tough. I like Drew Aller at number 1.
Okay.
And I'd say Connor's in the 2 or 3 range. He's definitely a top 3 quarterback in this class, in my opinion.
Yeah, that guy's been lining up recently, right, AT?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching a lot of his games. I like him a lot. I think his arm's been a lot better than I thought, and his mobility is just out of this world.
That's
I think
really,
top 3 quarterbacks. Hayes has put me on with Drew Aller. I think Drew Aller is a top 3 quarterback with Weekman. And then I think for 3, you can kind of go wherever you want with 3. I mean, there's Cade Klubnik, who's, I mean, right there. That's another guy that was very high on the Aggies. And I think if we didn't pick up Weekman, we would have picked Klubnik. And I do think that A&M did have the choice of Weekman over Klubnik. But at 3, you can put Ty Simpson, you can put Klubnik, but it's just insane that the Aggies were able to go in and get Connor Weekman with such ease 2 weeks after they offered him.
Yeah, I remember he committed. I think it was literally the day after the National Signing Day for 2021.
Yeah, I remember. It was right after LJ signed. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember sitting at the table. I was sitting at lunch, and I was scrolling through my phone. It was the day after getting LJ, I believe, and I was scrolling through my phone, and I got a notification. It was like, "Yo, bro, someone just told me Connor Weekman's going to A&M," and in like 5 minutes right after that, it just happened. And it was absolutely insane. And at that point, everyone was kind of confused because at that point, we were all thinking we were getting Klubnik. But very quickly, I've been turned from a big Klubnik fan to a big Weekman fan.
I'm sure either team would do well with both, but their Connor has been. I mean, some of the things he's been doing is crazy.
He's a stud.
He's a playmaker, and that's something the Aggies haven't had at quarterback in a while. I mean, and that's not a discredit to Kellen Mond, but that's just not the type of quarterback he was. He was a game manager, and he was a guy that will win you games by making the smart throw. Weigman is the type of guy that will make ridiculous plays and win you a game.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of a Johnny feel to him.
Yeah.
Is Weigman gonna play baseball at A&M too?
Yeah. He's played baseball and football, and I mean he's like a third round projected baseball pick too.
What's y'all's thoughts on? Because you do see a lot of college quarterbacks play both baseball and football. Like we see John Rawls Plumlee for Ole Miss, he plays both.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that kinda hurts their development in a way? Like missing out, because I mean the whole spring, you're not going to play spring football and practice and stuff like that if you're playing baseball, So what do y'all think about that?
I mean, me personally, I think in a way it helps. I think it makes sure, because I mean last year we had a lot of guys that were out of shape coming into spring camp and all that. Weigman's going to be in shape 24/7, and the way he plays baseball, I think. What was I going to go on there? I think him playing baseball is beneficial in many ways, but at the same time, it's also kind of a risk for him playing baseball. But at the same, I was going to say same time again. Yeah, I'm in it there. I kept stuttering.
That's interesting, though. Yeah, so I think if you're the Kyler Murray type, then I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that played first base that committed to Ole Miss last year?
Taiwan Malone.
Yeah, Malone.
Yeah,
and I wanted that guy, but that guy maybe it doesn't mean so much either. I also don't think it's that big a deal for pitchers. So
yeah,
I think it largely depends. Now Jimbo says he talked about it. I think it was at his post game or this week's press conference. I can't remember. That he kind of likes baseball players because they're very much used to basically only, getting a hit 3 out of 10 times. They're kind of used to that failure and, getting back up there and just going at it again, even though they didn't get, hit the ball 9 out of 10 times kind of thing. So
yeah,
maybe from a mentality standpoint, it doesn't, it helps them perhaps from that direction, but other guys kind of more middle of the road. I think you're probably right. It does maybe hurt him a little bit, but dadgum, Jimbo loves those two-sport guys, though.
Yeah, I mean we've got a few of them on our team right now too. I mean Weigman,
Foster.
I'm trying to think of some other guys. Bryce, he's a track star. A chain, yeah.
I think playing like track and like doing track and field type stuff is a lot different than baseball though, because baseball is such a long season. Play so many games, and like you're not really able to. It's kind of hard to like balance the two together at the same time. But like with track and stuff, it's not near as, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe a long of a season and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll look at somebody like I'm thinking of like a Deuce Fothery, who's a basketball guy, and his hands seem to me to benefit. I think Weidemeyer was a basketball guy as well. That seems to really benefit their agility. So,
yeah,
not sure baseball would do it necessarily the same way.
Yeah, I agree there.
So, when is Bear committing?
It's from what he keeps saying, it'll be a sign day.
Yeah,
around at the All-American game.
He came out with a hype video. Was that yesterday, right?
Yeah, I don't get why people do those. It did not make sense to me, but I mean, it's his recruitment. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. I mean, I thought it was a cool video, but he definitely could have labeled it a workout video or something.
I did like the. Go ahead.
I think he like whenever you're asking when he's going to commit, I know a couple weeks back he like put a tweet out saying he's going to commit on ESPN at the All-American game.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah.
And that's when Dindy kind of announced that he said he was going to commit at the Under Armour game, but I'm not really sure if things have changed.
Is there anybody that y'all currently know that's going to commit that far off, and that you know where they're going to commit at this point?
Trying to think. I mean, not really. I know a lot of guys. Like I know Harold Perkins is doing the exact same thing.
When's Perkins?
Especially this year, you'll see a lot more All-American game commitments than you ever have.
Not Under Armour.
This is my question for y'all. So with the new NIL type stuff coming up, do y'all see like certain players, kind of waiting longer to announce their commitment to like keep building up that hype and the following and being mentioned in articles and stuff, so they can, like I said, just put their name out there a little bit longer and for them to like stay fresh in the media, I guess.
I mean, it'll depend on the person. I mean, I know guys like Evan Stewart and Walter Nolan that are really big on that will probably wait till signing day, but I can definitely see that being a factor in some guys' decision making.
Oh gosh, yeah, because we've seen, Walter put that tweet out saying he commit once he hit 12K, and then we saw Denver Harris say he's going to drop a top 2 when he hits 10K and different things like that. But I mean, I find it kind of interesting to follow along, and I think we'll see some changes. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like I said, you just never really know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll take at least 2 or 3 years to kind of really settle in, kind of like the portal. I think people are starting to figure out the portal now, and maybe it's not quite what they thought it was going to be. And I think NIL will turn out to not quite be what they think it's going to be. But yeah, trying to build up that following, I think maybe was part of the reason for that video. But who knows? To me, it's also fun. So I mean, I enjoy seeing it. But
yeah,
On3 has it's a new thing. It's kind of one of the main differences in like our website compared to others. We have a thing called On3 NILU, and they put out like a bunch of different like educational pieces and stuff. It's ran by a guy named Grant. He was a receiver at Tennessee, and they put a graphic out saying how like 60%, like when you look at overall NIL compensation, 60% of the money is like going to football players compared to like all the other sports combined. And like that's pretty obvious because like football is such a, so much different than other sports. Like everyone's watching football.
Yeah, I mean, it draws a lot of Vegas money, a lot of betting going on. I've been no stranger to that myself this year. So Ags have come through. What's that?
You've been putting some bets out?
Yeah, here and there, try to be a little reserved with it. But I usually take a Vegas trip once a year with some guy friends, and we go out there and sit in the sports book all day on Saturday, starting at like 9 or even 7 if you want to catch game day, because out there it's at least an hour ahead or something, or behind. But then you start watching games at 9 instead of 11, I think, and then they don't finish up until like 11. So it's a fantastic day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had the Aggies to cover against Kent State, and they did. I did pick them to cover against Colorado, but I didn't have anything on that. But I had something on them covering with New Mexico, and they did that as well. Actually, I think a better pick I had recently was I rolled with Ole Miss the last 2 weeks as well. So I had Ole Miss to cover against Tulane after I saw how Oklahoma did against Nebraska. And I was looking back thinking, well, I'm not sure that Tulane performance was quite so good. And then Ole Miss just rolled them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got a little messy there.
Did y'all see that graphic by talking about the Kiffin area where he was like 4th and 1 inside his own 30, and he was going to go for it, and they're up like 30 or something, and so they said, "This is the Kiffin area. Get ready."
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Kiffin is he's very talked about in terms of how good he is as an offensive play caller, but I never really realized until I started watching his games. And I think he's going to build a good team in Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been a team I've been worried about since he got there and he started recruiting as well as he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll look at them, and I'm we're faced with Arkansas this week, and I got to see them play Texas in Fayetteville. 2 weeks ago?
Oh, you went to the game?
Yeah, I was there.
Dang.
It was awesome. I got some good clips. I'm gonna put them together at some point. Take a moment to talk them up, but their fans were, they kind of get a bad rap. The thing of it is there's one out of a bunch that's bad, and the rest of them are really fantastic. And there was a lot of hospitality that I got to experience while I was there. And I mean, I'm in my A&M shirt, and I've got a friend that lives that's a Longhorn that lives there, and so I'm going to the game with him. So I've got hogs on my left and horns on my right, and so I'm right in the thick of things. But everybody was really great that I met, saved just a couple, but usually it's a drunk college kid or something. So
yeah.
The atmosphere I was really impressed with, during the game.
Yeah, they had a crazy atmosphere. I was very shocked. I could hear it all the way through my TV. And even some games at Kyle Field, you can't quite hear it. I don't know exactly how, they fixed that all, but they were very loud that game. You could just tell through the TV.
Yeah, and they do a few things I really appreciated, which with fan engagement. And whenever I put out the video on them, I'm actually going to kind of halfway put it out for Aggies, so I can kind of talk about the game day atmosphere and ways to engage the fans, and something that's more than just doing a Whataburger fry mix up with 3 fry holders and guess where the fries still were, or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't quite do it. A couple years ago, I mean, it was something real simple. At the game day, they had like a field goal kicking competition for like like $1,000 or $2,000 scholarship thing, or like a $2,000 off your tuition, and the crowd was into that huge.
Yeah.
So I feel like they could do a few more things like that. I want to keep a lot of the stuff that they do, but with these games these days and all the timeouts that they take, I mean, it's sometimes agonizing to watch a game, especially if you're there in person, because you can't get up and go get more queso. Well, you can, I guess, to go to the concession stand, but you get the idea. It's not right there in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So, having something to do, and, I want to hear the band play. I want to hear about all the accolades that the other teams are doing. Don't get me wrong. And there's a few other things, but there's a lot of downtime. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I haven't been to a game in a while, but I definitely agree.
So we'll see. They do a few things where that'll be kind of obvious to Aggies about, oh, we could incorporate that real easily and do this and get creative. I've got a couple of creative ideas I'd love to have, but we'll see. We'll see. So on that note, I think we started off as a 5-point favorite. Is that justified over Arkansas?
I mean, I'd say that's a little low. I don't know. I'd say that's a little low, but at the same time, I don't expect this week to be a very high scoring game. I mean, I put on my Twitter, I thought I predicted like 28-20, something like that, 17. I don't even think we'll score that much. I mean, both teams have such a good defense that I don't know if anyone will win by a field goal. We might have to go to overtime a few times, I think.
Well, Hayes, you're the non-biased guy in the group here. So, I mean, should we have even been the favorite?
The favorite versus who?
Arkansas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Why do you feel like that?
Look, I'm gonna say this. I just feel like Texas right now isn't really as good as people are like hyping them up to be. So and like that, in my opinion, I just don't think Arkansas like a Arkansas win over Texas doesn't really make them a favorite over A&M, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're kind of digging deep a little bit, and not that it's not a good win for Arkansas or anything to take
No,
away from it, but
yeah, it was definitely a good win, but I just don't like what was Texas ranked when Arkansas beat them? Was it like 15?
It was like 17. I'm
yeah,
not sure.
somewhere in that
Yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah, I don't know. I still think A&M's the favorite versus Arkansas.
We'll certainly see because they play us tough every year, and
Yeah.
they played inspired that game. I'm sure they're going to play inspired against us too. So I'm uh, I'm not trying to talk us up like we're about to run away with this or anything. I will be happy with the W, however it comes.
Yeah. I think if you just get out of there healthy with a dub, I think you reached your goal there.
Mhm.
I don't think Arkansas is a week that you'll be too mad if you don't just absolutely destroy them. Especially with how our offense has been this year. I just expect us to control the pace of the game and maybe keep it close for a little bit, but I expect us to break it loose by the fourth quarter.
Central. Let me get your thoughts on this game. I think it's going to be one of those sneaky good games Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn versus LSU. Who you got there?
Oh, so Auburn loses by 8 points to Penn State, right? This last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I caught a little bit of it, and I haven't been able to catch a lot of LSU this year. Um, now that we're out of the COVID year, whenever I do have games, I'm traveling to and from College Station, and there's the bad part about that is I don't get to watch a whole lot. I think I'm gonna. I mean, there was the bad call, right, for Auburn that that maybe made it a little closer than what it should have been. I think
Yeah.
it's a tight one. I wouldn't be surprised if LSU came away with it.
It'll
Interesting.
be it'll be interesting because I mean I don't think Auburn has won in Death Valley in a minute.
Mm.
So, but
Yeah,
I mean
it's been a little bit.
it's been a while.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think LSU is truly a team. I mean, if their DBs were as good as we expected them to, I think I'd be a little bit more worried. But it's just because I haven't watched any of their games. I haven't watched any of their games yet. I'll admit that I haven't watched a single game. They've played McNeese State, Central Michigan, and some other no name. I haven't watched any games this year, but Derek Stingley and Elias Ricks should be making a lot more headlines than they are right now.
Mm. Let's see. How did they do? Their first game, they go into UCLA, which I guess we got to kind of determine whether or not UCLA is legit. But UCLA lost this last weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost to Fresno State.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit. They look like they played UCLA well, I suppose, but they still, they still lost.
Mm-hmm.
But then UCLA goes and drops at the Fresno State. So I don't know. I think it's pretty even. And so I am having trouble. I dang. I keep thinking Bo Nix is gonna, really just have a huge breakout game, and it just doesn't quite happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
think
I'm not too big on Knicks. I don't think he's as good as a lot of people hype him up to.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like I want him to be more than he has been or that he can be, and it doesn't quite materialize. So I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna stick with LSU though.
I don't know.
That's gonna be
I think Auburn got rigged out of that game a little bit. There was some bad PI calls. I think I'll get Auburn against LSU.
What you got, Hayes?
I got Auburn, man.
Do you?
I think that higher Auburn's hire of Coach Horson was just an absolute home run hire. Just wait till he starts, being able to like recruit his own players, like and his players playing for him. I think he's just a really good overall hire for that university, in my opinion.
Okay, so how about this then for y'all? Is Oregon legit?
Yes.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I was talking about this earlier, man. Like, if you're playing Ohio State at home without your leading tackler on defense and Justin Flo, and arguably the best player in the country in Kayvon Thibodeau, and you just dominate like you do, like that really showed me a lot, honestly.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Ohio State this year, quite honestly. They just don't look good. And it's the same thing with Clemson. Neither of them look good. Like, you can't tell me those are the top teams in the nation because right now they aren't playing that way. And at the same time, I also think that's something going around the league right now is that a lot of the bottom feeder teams that are typically bottom feeders are pretty solid right now because they've been able to keep their really good players over the last few years, as in the top tier programs. They just kept their top guys or they gone to the draft. So I think that's also kind of a part that you could blame to the super senior thing. But I just outside of Alabama and Georgia and even Alabama, they almost lost the this weekend. I don't know if there's a team that you can really lock in to be the best team in college football this year. And Ohio State and Clemson, who are probably going to be two of your top four of them, have fallen off really fast.
Hey, I'm not going to lie, though. The way it's looking, like with it being kind of wide open, that just makes college football so much more fun to me.
Yeah, I agree. I like it a lot more wide open.
Dude, like that 2007 season with all those upsets, man, that was the best college season of all time.
Yeah, I mean, and the good thing about it is if A&M drops one game to Alabama, I don't see a way they miss the playoffs if they don't have to play in the conference championship game. I feel like Clemson is already kind of I think they might be out of it already with a loss to Georgia and then a near loss to Georgia Tech. I don't see them getting better anytime soon.
Dude, yeah. Like, especially with last year with, when you look at Notre Dame making it over A&M, I feel like y'all lose one game to Alabama and win out. It's going to be very tough for the committee to kind of lead you out like they did last year.
And at the same time, the only thing that worries about it's always been about Clemson for me. They've always been a really good team, but we've never really seen how good they are. And I think if they win out, which I think they will, they're playing NC State, Boston College, Syracuse, Pittsburgh, Florida State, Louisville, Connecticut, Wake Forest, and South Carolina. They're going to win those games. And they're going to win them convincingly. So that's the only thing that kind of worries me is that they're going to start off bad against these good teams. And then once they face all these bottom feeders, they're going to be hyped up to be this beast and make it over us.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody made a graphic after Texas played Arkansas and they were like, can you imagine having to go play, Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Georgia, and A&M in like the next 4 out of 6 weeks or 5 out of 6 weeks or something like that. It was like, you don't get to, after this game, you get to go play, of course they just have the one cupcake after that. They played Rice this last week, but then they're going to get to roll right into, I don't know, somebody like, could be Kansas. It could be West Virginia. West Virginia is pretty good this year, right? And so, but it's not like that year. It could be Baylor. It could be TCU, who owns them anyways at this point. But you get the idea. You don't have to go play those kinds of teams afterwards. I mean, it's the same thing for Clemson, though, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's weird. It's this year is definitely one of the weirder college football seasons that we've had in a while already, and we're only 3 weeks in.
Yeah. But, so go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
So kind of going off that whole thing, who do y'all have as your top 4 right now? If the playoff for tomorrow to be ranked, who do you got in the top 4?
Hayes, I'll let you go first, Hayes.
Top 4 right now. I mean, you can say Bama and Georgia top 2. You can switch those around however you want. 3.
you got to have Oregon in the top 4, obviously. But I'm trying to think, who would the other team be?
Mine would
I'm
be.
not having Clemson. I'm not having Clemson in there.
Yeah, I think you have a top 6 right now, and you can interchange them however you want between Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Oklahoma, A&M, and Iowa. Iowa maybe won't last in there for too long, but just right now, that's how it looks.
Yeah, Iowa hasn't shown me too much. I don't know. I mean, they had a good win over Iowa State, but honestly, how good is Iowa State compared to the rest of the top teams in the country?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, would you rather put Penn State in there? Oh, maybe you would prefer Penn State.
Yeah, I'd rather Penn State over Iowa. Honestly,
I prefer Penn State. Let me backtrack on that. And then the other teams that are behind us are like Cincinnati, Clemson, Ohio State. I won't put them in the top 4. There's no chance.
Does Penn State and Iowa play this year?
I can look.
I got you. Yeah, they play on October 9th.
That'll be a good game. That's gonna
October 9th is the night of games, my man.
Mm-hmm.
God, October 9th may be one of, if not the best week of college football we may have ever seen. If it continues to look the way it is right now, there's a lot of like huge games on that day.
This is my question. What is y'all's thoughts on Oklahoma this year?
Their defense is horrible. I'm gonna say that first. Their defense is horrible. I mean, I don't know. I think they're good enough, but at the same time, they kind of have the same issue as us. They're not winning convincingly.
I got you.
Yeah, and I mean, this all comes off the tail end of like hearing folks who go by initials in their name, who won't be named currently, talk about how good their defense has been for the entire offseason. And then we get here and where's the defense?
Yeah.
So everybody talked up A&M's defense. They've come to play. I don't know that anybody talked up our offense so much. They might have thought they might have some more scoring going on, but of course, I mean, you know,
there's only so much to do with A&M's offense right now.
What's that?
Yeah, y'all need Haynes King back, man.
I don't know. Haynes King just felt like the guy that kind of glued it all together. I felt like it was going to come together, but injuries have also been a big hit to A&M's offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, offensive line needs to kind of gel as well. They feel like they're playing just too individually at the moment, and they, if they get you one-on-one, it's kind of game over. But it's, like when New Mexico State, whenever they stunt, and then you have to account for that guy coming around the edge, or he's going to attack your edge, and then the other guy's going to go inside. It just kind of feels like they're not quite cohesive yet.
Yeah, I agree.
So do you think Dendy's kind of looking at each team's season right now and, like comparing it and saying like, I could see myself playing here. I could see myself playing here. What's your thoughts on that, Central?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, in the end of the day, I get tired of this, right? Oklahoma's going to, like, who's what they have coming up next. So they just finished up in Nebraska, squeaked that one by. They're going to play West Virginia coming up, and they got Kansas State. October 9th is with Texas. Then they're going to, I'm not going to say float exactly. I mean, these aren't cupcakes that we're talking about here, but then they got TCU, Kansas, Tech, Baylor, and then they'll finish up with, I think, Iowa State and Oklahoma State. So it's just one of those things where it's like, well, all right, they're getting some things figured out right now. A&M's getting some things figured out right now. He's a defensive player. I sure hope he saw that goose egg that came up this last go around, because it may have been New Mexico, but that's not that common. I think maybe something that's, and I wonder whether or not he's watching this though, is, and if it makes any difference in his mind, is about the conference realignment part.
Yeah.
I feel like he ought to start leaning our way, especially if we come away with an Arkansas win, and we go into the Alabama game, I think 5-0. I mean, that to me says a lot. I'd love to keep that game close too, but if we do, I don't see how he commits to Oklahoma unless that they're selling him on that SEC switch for some reason. I don't know.
A good buddy of ours, his name's Aiden Marks. He has a thing called the Marks effect, and he claims like that he's one of the Oklahoma's like lead recruiters for Gabriel, and like if he lands Gabriel, then like it's pretty much because his recruiting tactics have landed him.
Marks effect.
What kind of tactics are we talking about here? Do you know?
Texting them 5 times a day, forcing them to play COD.
So
going on live with them.
Okay. Yeah. There's been some negative recruiting between the two schools recently too, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, let me hear about this. I have no clue about
Oh, you haven't heard about that?
No.
Oh, so I was on live with Jaden Scarlett and Ish Harris. Ish Harris was committed at the time, Scarlett wasn't. And like they were both going on about how whenever they were at Oklahoma, they already Oklahoma already knew that they're going to A&M. And so like Oklahoma, especially Coach Grinch, was like absolutely like going in on Texas A&M, talking about how we haven't won any championships and how our defense was going to fall off the map and all that type of crazy stuff.
Oh, dang.
Well, I think Elko speaks for himself at this point, but man, we'll see. I hope we get him. That'd be a big head-to-head win.
Yeah.
AT, you had a prediction recently about 2022, didn't you?
Oh boy, yeah, I did.
How's it looking so far? I don't know if I remember everything that was on there.
I'm looking at it now. I'll say there's this list is I'm a lot more confident in. But I think there's a few of them that I wouldn't quite change, but I'm still hesitant on them. Like Davian Moss, that's the only running back the Aggies will take this class. Do we get him? I have absolutely no idea right now. I think we might lead, but we'll see. I had Brennan Thompson in there. That'll be an A&M Texas battle. And then I have Cam Dewberry and Nito in there, which was some pretty ballsy picks. We'll see how that goes. And then I had Shamar Turner in there, which was interesting. I do think we get Shamar Turner right now. Miami's looking bad. Ohio State's looking bad. And I do think we lead right now. So I don't think there's any factors working against us right there right now. And then another new guy I had on the list was Anthony Lucas, which I don't think we quite lead for yet, but I'm starting to get a feel we're trending upwards for him. And then I had Jacoby Matthews on there as well, which I think with Jacoby Matthews is I think we have to get him committed sometime soon if we want him. Because I have a fear LSU will pull a good old LSU on signing day and he'll sign with them. If not.
Well, it seems like, and Hayes, you may know a little bit more, but is Orgeron having some difficulty over at LSU currently?
And from what I'm hearing, it's not looking too good. I don't know though. Don't quote me on that because I've had some players tell me that they've been hearing some like rumors and stuff, but like I said, I'm not really sure about what's going on over there.
Yeah, it does seem like a mostly rumor at the moment, but you know there may be some fire where there's some of that smoke going on. But we'll see. That's that could be a shakeup. I mean, they seem to. I don't know what it is about them. We have struggled, I think, recruiting against them, and in large part. I mean, of course, we struggle against Alabama, but being so close to them state-wise, they dip over quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what do you think? We talked about Oregon a little bit already, but Florida keeping it to 2 points says what?
Hazel, I'll let you take a first. I'll let you take one here. I gotta think about this one a bit.
I'm a big guy on a win is a win. You know, Florida kept it close, but at the end of the day, they lost. So, what more is there to say?
Interesting take.
But
I don't know. I think
Emory
it shows. Go ahead, Hayes.
Emory Jones kind of surprised me a little bit because I thought, before that game that Anthony Richardson was, the guy for them. But I mean, Emory Jones played a pretty good game. So
yeah, I mean, I thought Emory Jones played pretty good. I think he put them in the best position possible to win that game. I just think they came up short due to the fact they weren't talented enough. They didn't have the depth that Alabama had, and they didn't have the I wouldn't say discipline because Alabama had very costly mistakes, but it just felt like Alabama was the better team the entire time, and Florida was having to try to keep up with them.
Yeah, some interesting stats. I don't know if y'all got a chance to look at those from that game, but as far as prediction purposes go, I don't put much stock into these, but looking back at summary wise, Alabama had 331 total yards to Florida's 440.
Cool.
And then
dang, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Florida kept held Alabama under 100 yards rushing. They had 91. So average rush of 3.3 for Alabama and 5.7 for Florida. That's kind of almost like a switch from what you would normally see in a stat line from them. Let's see, passing 240 for Alabama, 195 for Florida. Maybe the bigger stat, something to really kind of go off of is the third down efficiency, though. But Alabama was over 50%, whereas Florida was probably somewhere around 40%, or maybe even 5 of 12, where Alabama was 7 of 13. So, but costly turnover by Florida. So play a cleaner game.
Yeah, that ended up costing them the game. It looked like.
And that seems to be what Jimbo, in a sense, once. I mean, he was talking today in this presser about, just I want these guys doing what, executing, being where they're supposed to be. It's about these little things. Looking at the film on these guys, there's talent, plenty of talent there. And I'm even looking at how Colorado played against us or how New Mexico played, not down on us, but just in the sense of these are some smaller guys. I mean, I was looking at New Mexico's D line, they have one guy that's 280 plus, and the rest of the guys are kind of around 265. I'm we should be pushing these guys around. But part of the scheme they ran, which was, they never attacked our chest. It was always attacking our edge. I mean, every play, able to get some leverage and, work in some of those gaps. Whereas, getting a step ahead, knowing where they're going to go, anticipating that and beating them to that area so that talent can come out is a big deal. And Florida probably, Alabama probably does that the best, and they already have the most talent. So,
yeah, I mean, about the edge pressure, I honestly, whenever I saw Ruben Fatheree come in, I think that was when we were at our best on the O-line. He really impressed me. I didn't think he'd be ready to play this year, but maybe he's proving me wrong. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we can't keep getting banged up. It's going to provide opportunity. And Layden Robinson's supposed to be back this next week, so hopefully that pushes Kenyon Green back out to the tackle area, a little bit more natural spot for him. Bryce is coming along. He's learning, and he's taking a few on the chin. So has Aggie. Jameer has been good, but he has still let a few go, which a lot of this to me is kind of typical because essentially you got 5 brand new guys playing together. Layden Robinson comes back. Jameer is experienced with Tennessee, but these guys haven't really played with each other. I think they did better this last week, but they're going to have to grow some more and they should with as the season goes along. I fully expect they will. So
Yeah, I thought they had to gel a little bit.
Mhm. Man, looking forward to this weekend again, though. I've been to a lot of.
I'll be at that game happily. So
Will you?
hopefully, hopefully I'm a good luck charm.
Watch yourself, man. They do get ornery at the game. I've sat over in the Arkansas section before, and again, I love the state, love the people, but they can get ornery. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna be there with a bunch of friends, so I feel like if something goes down, I like my chances with my guys.
that's good. That's good.
Wait, are you gonna go meet up with some recruits over there or no?
I've talked to a few guys about it. Like Jonte Cook's going, so I think I'm gonna meet up with him, but we'll see what happens. Might get a good word or two in.
Are you gonna meet up with Central?
With who?
With Central.
Central? Are you going Central?
No, I'm not going. I've been a bunch of times, but it's one of those things. I got 4-year-old and 7-year-old baseball games this weekend.
Yeah, I feel you.
But that can get you just almost as worked up watching those as watching an A&M football game these days.
Yeah.
So
are your kids be playing while the Aggies are playing?
one of them will be. One of them's game is at 2:30. I know their game this last week started at 11, so it dipped into both of them. But
man,
you
might sneak a few pics at your phone.
Well, I've got and I'm a pretty big fan of this, especially whenever my service is going well. I've got YouTube TV, so I can pretty much get the games where I need to.
Yeah, I've got YouTube TV. It is so clutch, especially because for the Colorado game. I don't know if it was going on with you, but they had a game on, and it was not turning on to the Colorado game unless I watched it on my phone until the game was over, and then that bugged me because I missed the PV pick and all that. But
I had to download the Fox app to get it, and I wasn't getting good service where I was in Arkansas at the time, so I missed a lot of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I had to download that Fox app, and I was really mad about them not switching over. I was like, man, so this is the bad thing about being on Fox versus ESPN, because if it was ESPN like 1 or 2, they probably would have transferred it over to ESPNU or something until the actual game got over. But what do you use, Hayes? You use any particular streaming to watch games?
Fubo TV.
Fubo.
It's on the Roku thing.
Yeah. I've used a little bit of Hulu myself, and that's done well at times.
I wish I had YouTube TV.
It's been pretty good. I mean,
TV's
everybody's essentially got Wi-Fi, and then I think it's just maybe $55 a month.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've never found out how to work Hulu for sports. I'm sub. We have a sub for Hulu, but apparently there's like another sub above like the normal tier sub, so that might be where it's at. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Parting thoughts, huh? Like, what's going to happen this week, y'all? Y'all have A&M to win. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have A&M winning.
All right, let's pick a few games real quick. So you got that one. Let's see what's big on the slate coming up. There's Notre Dame and Wisconsin. Who y'all got there?
Ooh,
I got Notre Dame.
It's a nice little old time matchup, but I'll give me Notre Dame.
All right, I'm gonna go Wisconsin then.
Dang.
All right, we're gonna meet back up. We're gonna review these, make sure we know who's all right and who's all wrong, and how we did. No. Let's see. Not really many top 25 matchups this week going on, but start picking against the spread if we have to. Where's game day going to be? Is it going to be?
It'll be at the Wisconsin game, I believe.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think there was a lobby for Jerry's World, but didn't quite come through.
Yeah, we're not getting a SEC whatever or game day.
Yeah, that's right. Where's SEC game going?
Yeah, SEC is going to the Gamecocks Kentucky game for some reason.
Okay, because South Carolina did real good against Georgia.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I shouldn't quite.
I don't know thought behind that one, but
Well, sometimes I think they've got to decide when they're going to go and where they're going to go because they might have other opportunities to see Arkansas or A&M. Obviously, they have other opportunities, or they should, particularly if either depending on who wins, they'll have another opportunity somewhere. But those two, they might not have a chance to feature. I mean, South Carolina is kind of down this year as well. So
yeah.
Well, then we'll get heavy into conference play after that. So it'll be
It'll be a tricky little time.
it will be. I don't want to sleep on Mississippi State either because they've always tend to give us a little trouble.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about them this year. They don't look very well put together this year, in my opinion. I haven't watched too much of them, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So how about this last prediction? True or false? A&M ends up with a top 3 class in 2022.
Hayes.
Dang, this is an interesting question for right now. Man, dude, that's hard.
How about if I do it over under 3.5?
It's a lock that there'll be a top 5 class. That's guaranteed, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
What do you think, Jackson? Do you agree about that?
Yeah, I think top 5 is guaranteed right now.
But dude, it's just there's so many guys left on the board. It's hard to tell. Like Penn State having the number 1 class right now. Isn't it them and like Notre Dame? They're like top 3. They have so many because they have so many guys committed right now.
I can look. The top recruiting class goes Penn State with 24, Notre Dame with 21, Texas with 21. Those are the only classes. Yeah, those are the only classes, with the exception of Oregon, that have 20 or more commits.
Yeah.
And Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has 22 at 18.
See, like those schools in the top 3. I mean, AT, can we agree that none of those teams will finish top 3?
There's no chance. There's not a chance.
Okay.
Texas doesn't have a single top 100 recruit, and they have 21 commits.
Okay.
That is quite embarrassing.
This is interesting to start bringing this up because I probably got a little bit more heavy into following recruiting, say right around the 2008, 2009 year. And it was without fail, and it kind of continued with someone for a while too. We would always jump out front. Like we would be like number 1, 2, or 3 for maybe a significant portion of the year. Right. And then August comes around, and then it slowly starts to fall off as more guys start to recruit. Right. So we end up with start off with 16 recruits, before June. And of course, we have that big number on the right-hand side, but the average is not as high. Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of switched in that realm. We don't quite jump out like that anymore. It's a little bit more of a finish line kind of thing.
Yeah, we don't get too many commits. I mean, before each summer, by the end of each summer, we have about 10. But we've definitely started going a little bit more slow with who we take. I mean, we definitely. I mean, if we wanted to, we could have Jalen Gilbo in the class, Julian Humphrey in the class, but we've stayed very patient with our guys.
So y'all got 100% chance top 5. What the chances are, since can't be too precise, do you give it what percentage to be top 3?
I actually think a 50% chance to get top 3, and I think if you land Shamar Turner or Walter Nolan, I think that's locked to be top 3.
Okay. What do you got, Hayes?
I think AT sounds pretty good.
Pretty good.
Those predictions.
Yeah.
Now, what is it gonna take for y'all to get the number 1 class?
We'd have to land Bear and then Shamar and Bear. Shamar and Bear. and then we'd have to land Jacoby for sure. We'd have to land Cam. I think we'd have to land Moss as well. We'd have to land quite a bit of our top guys, which are definitely possible.
So what percent are you saying?
If we get the number one
class,
class, I'll give like a 10% chance.
Who's your favorite to get the number one class? Bama?
I'd probably say Bama, yeah. They always start pulling some weird strings at the signing day. Like last year, we would have got JoJo Earl until he called Alabama and they had room. And that hurt us a little bit for sure.
Dude, that recruitment, JoJo Earl's recruitment was just crazy.
Yeah.
I was
told
he was so underrated too. He was so good, dude.
He committed to A&M and then called up Alabama just to make sure. And that was rough.
Man.
Because I think personally, he might be starting for us right now. Him and Demas would be starting for us right now.
That would be something. Demas, what a game, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped, especially because I'm gonna be at this game this week. He's gonna be starting this week, so I'm pretty pumped.
Are you gonna be able to go meet him after the game?
I hope so. I've already talked to him about it. We'll see what happens, but I've already talked to a few guys about it. I'm trying to get some gloves for my room. I want to make a little bit of a podcast corner in one of my rooms and have some gloves behind me, maybe a helmet, because I know I saw a nice was selling some helmets, so I let him know I'd be interested in getting one. So I want to try to get some stuff like that and just put it behind me and all that, but we'll see.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty cool design.